After Jacob stole his father's blessing from his brother, he was scared. Jacob's mother and father decided to send him to live with his uncle Laban in the land of Haran. Laban tricked Jacob into marrying his daughter Leah. Eventually, he gave him his other daughter Rachel, who Jacob wanted to marry all along. Jacob got richer and his family got larger. One day, the Lord spoke to Jacob and told him to leave Haran to return to his father's land. When he left, he took his entire family and all his belongings. Jacob's travels took him close to the land of his brother, Esau. Though it had been years since he had seen Esau, he was still very afraid that Esau would carry out his threat to kill him for stealing the birthright and blessing. Jacob sent his servants ahead to let his brother know he was coming in peace. Esau sent no response to Jacob's message, but started heading his way with 400 men. Jacob was terrified. To reduce any losses if Esau attacked them, Jacob divided the people and animals traveling with him into 2 camps. After Jacob prayed and reminded God of his promises to him, he prepared some gifts to send ahead to his brother. He also asked his wives and children to go ahead of him, leaving Jacob alone in the camp to prepare to meet his brother. That night, as he was alone, Jacob saw a person come out from the dark edge of his camp. The thought that Esau or one of his men had come to kill him in the middle of the night terrified Jacob. Jacob was not going to let himself be harmed, so he decided to go on the attack. He rushed toward the man, knocking him to the ground. He would wrestle this man as if his life depended upon it. As the fight began, it was an even match, and they wrestled for hours. As the fight went on, Jacob realized that he was not fighting with Esau. In fact, he wasn't sure who this stranger was, but he knew that he wasn't an ordinary man. Finally, to end the fight, the stranger simply touched Jacob's hip socket. Immediately, Jacob felt his leg weaken as his hip shifted out of joint. Even though he tried to wrestle, he knew that he couldn't win. "Now let me go," the man said to Jacob. "It's morning." But Jacob knew that this was no ordinary man. This was a messenger of God. Even though he was in pain, Jacob kept holding on to the man. "I won't let you go unless you bless me," Jacob said. The man asked Jacob's name, and Jacob told him, "Your name is now Israel, because you have fought with God and men and were victorious," the man said, and then he blessed Jacob. Something very special had just happened to Jacob. The sun rose in the sky as Jacob returned to see his family and face Esau. Jacob was a changed man. He walked with a limp, but he had a new name and a new identity. God had given Jacob a promise, and he would keep it. When Jacob met Esau that day, their meeting was a happy one. Esau met him with a huge hug and a warm welcome. From that day forward, Jacob would lead a life of blessing. He still had his troubles, but he knew that God would keep his promises.